Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be showing you my one-click bills calculator spreadsheet. It's a really easy spreadsheet to use. All you have to do is follow the 4 simple steps. You can see I've typed step 1 here, step 2, step 3, and step 4. Basically, this spreadsheet is designed for somebody who has an online bank account that is dedicated to paying monthly recurring bills. So bills, like your cell phone, your rent, cable bill, TV, natural gas, your car note, all of these things are happening every month. And ideally, you should have it set up so that all of these bills are paid automatically with Autopay. So you should know the draft amount, how much dollars is going to be for each bill, and what day will it be coming out of the account. Is this going to be the 1st of each month, the 5th of each month? You could even click last, which means the last day of each month. And so that's basically what you do in this table on the left. You just type in all your bills. I can add here an example bill. Let's say this is $250 per month, and we'll put this on the 7th of each month. And now that bill has been added. Another assumption about this spreadsheet is not only do you have a bank account that's dedicated to just paying these bills, it's not like you have a debit card and you're spending randomly. This is just purely for bills. Not only do you have a bank account like that, but you also will be funding this bank account periodically. You can either choose to fund it just once per month or twice per month. And these are what I call paydays. And so this is a really nice feature to have in a spreadsheet like this because, if you're like me and you work for a corporate, a business, and you've got a job and they're paying you regularly. Like for me, my job, I'm only paid once per month. That's on the 25th. Some companies, that they may have you paid on the 1st and the 15th of every month. So if you're only paid once per month, you want to make sure that the payday you select is this first payday. Pick what day on the month you're paid. And the second payday, you want to go ahead and check the none option. If you were paid, for example, on let's say the 7th and 22nd, you would do it just like this, 7/22. You always want to make sure that the smaller number, for your paydays is always the first payday. So you wouldn't put 22/7. It would have to be 7/22, or it wouldn't calculate properly. Just something to remember. And basically, after you type in, you've settled on what your monthly bills are. You've selected your pay, how you're going to be funding your bank account. And keep in mind, you don't have to actually, if you have a type of job where you're not always paid on the 7th and 22nd, it doesn't really matter. So long as you transfer the calculated amount of money on each payday, you will be okay. So you'll notice here, read results below. One of the results is minimum deposit on paydays. In this case, $2,900. Actually, let me press these buttons to update the calculation. You can see it says error. Anytime you change numbers in here, it's going to show an error until you do a new calculation. So you have to click the first calculate button and then the second calculate button. And now it shows OK. Anytime you change something in here, this will not say OK anymore. So for example, if I change this example bill from $250 to $350, press enter, and now it says error because I've changed something. So these numbers will be updated once I click button 1, button 2. So let's do that. Click button 1, click button 2, and boom, now it's okay. Basically, these results apply to, this bank account, this bill structure. And so let me just explain what these results are, and it'll all start to make a little bit more sense here. So the minimum deposit on paydays, 1,000. You'll notice if you put your cursor over the number, there's a little description here that I wrote, but basically the minimum deposit on paydays, this is the minimum amount of money that you need to add to your bill paying account on these paydays. So, on the 7th and 22nd, you need to add $1,667.50. That's the theoretical minimum that you should be transferring in order to support the list of bills here. Now, there's also another number called today's minimum account balance. This 2020 is the amount of money that you need in your bank account for today only. You're not trying to maintain this with time. This is just for today only. The spreadsheet knows what today is. You can see period of interest, March 1st, March 7th. So today is March 1st, 2020. If you're paid on the 7th and 22nd, the next paycheck is going to be March 7th, right? So you've got a starting balance here of 2020. That's going to be your minimum account balance for today. And the spreadsheet knows that based on these inputs, you're going to be spending $1,970 until your next payday on the 7th. So you got to have some money in there right now in order to get you to your next payday without overdrafting the account. And that's kind of how the logic works. You kind of have these two out, but it's answering basically two questions. How much money do I need in my account today to get me to my next payday? And then on these future paydays, how much should I be transferring in order to, support the list of bills? And, what's great about this is these dollar figures are truly the kind of optimized numbers. You could just easily have a bank account like this and just put $5,000 or $6,000 and just ignore it. But it's kind of nice to have that insight as to what is truly the minimum that you need in this account in order to support these bills. And you can kind of just, remember this number, about $1,700. Just make sure you're adding that on the 7th and 22nd. And, theoretically, you should never overdraft your account unless, of course, let's say your water bill is not $75. If it comes in as a larger amount, like $100 or $200, then it might throw off these numbers. So what's cool is you can open the spreadsheet, click these calculate buttons to update the numbers, and every day it'll give you a new minimum account balance for today. So you can kind of check in to make sure you have enough money based on your actual bills, to meet this assumed monthly recurring bills list. Another thing you may be wondering is, okay, this is really cool, but I don't know the draft day for every bill. Maybe this is only a part of my bills, and I've got a cleaning lady. She comes to my house once per month. I pay her $75 a month, but I'm not paying her always the same day, and I'm using the same account to pay for that. So I want to account for bills that I don't know the draft day. So I added this little miscellaneous buffer. It's in bold here. You can just type in any dollar amount that you want to add to account for, and it doesn't really matter what the draft day is. You'll notice right now it shows 1, and because today is March 1st, it's going to assume the worst case, which is basically this money is drafted today. You can see there's an equation based on today's value. It's looking at today to come up with this 1. But anyways, you can add in this buffer just to account for things that are not so predictable, for the draft day. And yeah, that's basically the entire spreadsheet. Like I said, just to recap, 4 simple steps. Enter your monthly recurring bills. Any bills that you have that the dollar amount is not predictable, you don't want to use the bank account to pay for those things because it's, you risk overdrafting the account. It's okay if the draft day is unknown because you can, book it and you can basically place it in this miscellaneous buffer placeholder to account for it. But ideally you would have all the draft days here like I have to, kind of manage the cash flow each month. And so in this case, minimum deposit on paydays, like we said, $1,700 a month. What's great is you can do sensitivities on this. So let's say, what if my, I want to see, my rent is $1,200 a month right now. What would happen if I bought a house that was going to be $2,000 a month? I want to know what my deposit would need to be on my, I'm getting paid on the 7th and 22nd. I like that structure. Right now, $1,700 a month. So now if my rent is $2,000 a month, let's see how it changes this. Well, it hadn't changed yet because, I need to click these buttons. So let's click the first button, click the second button. Basically now, instead of $1,700 on the 7th and 22nd, I would be doing $2,067 on these paydays. You could also say, hey, what if I took a different job and maybe they only pay me on the 25th once per month. So you could kind of change it up like this and say, okay, 25, none, I'm paid on the 25th each month. There is no second payday. Calculate, click, and the minimum deposit would be $4,100 per month. So it's just a cool way to kind of check up on things and figure out, okay, what's the theoretical minimum? That way you can invest your other money, in the stock market or in a high yield savings account. And yeah, that's basically the whole spreadsheet. There'll be a link in the description. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.